Rhythm City Casino Resort in Davenport, October 25th. Blue October is going to be there, and I've got Justin Furstenfeld on the line here. Justin, first of all, thank you very much for the phone call.
Oh, thank you very much for taking the time out of your day to talk to me.
Yeah, man. Back in 2002, you guys were rolling through Clinton, Iowa, and I got to see you. Me and the wife got to see you on the Consent to Treatment tour, and
Oh, wow.
it was very cool because actually we were there to see a local band. Blue Ash Inc. was the band we were going to see, and you guys just I think the story was you guys were just looking for some gas money to get you up to Chicago or something, and we just kind of happened upon you. So that was a really cool introduction to you guys.
Wow, I bet it was all dark, and I had a lot of makeup on, and I was jumping around.
Absolutely.
Looking all angry.
Yes.
You weren't cool unless you were angry and hurt back then, So I was trying to put on my best anger face back then,
Yeah, and it's you guys back then it was a kind of music I've never heard before. You guys had
Right.
the violinist and just a kind of a multi-instrumental. And I talked to your guitarist after the show. I'm like, how do you guys categorize yourself? And he said bipolar rock.
Bipolar rock? Oh, that's so hilarious. I like that bipolar rock, man. You better take your medication if you listen to us.
That's right. So how does touring differ now than back in those days?
Our music's better now. There you go. How about that?
That's one.
It's less self-deprecated. It's less poor me, and it's more, hey, have a good time and enjoy your life because it's short and we got one of them to live. So let's try to find as many great, awesome miracles every day and write really good music around it, know. And we tour. Our craft seems to have come together a lot more. I run the label now. We're no longer on Universal Records. I started my own record label, and
wow.
and it's really quite amazing the journey that we've been on, and how blessed we are to be able to keep doing this. It's super amazing. Most people. When they've been doing it for this long, kind of get bored with it. But I just keep finding new ways to fall back in love with it.
And is one of those ways the solo work you do from time to time, where you go out and just do just you doing a solo show?
Well, yeah, that's actually awesome because that's more of a one act play that I've been working on. I've always come from a theater background, and most people think it's like a solo kind of acoustic storytellers,
Yeah.
And it's more it's this piece that I've been working on for about 7 years now, where it's a one act play, more mainly monologues, but it's really cool to be able to just challenge yourself and do things like that. And my goal is to take it to Broadway one day. So whenever I'm off the road with Blue October, it's me practicing and going around the country and forming this show called the Open Book Tour.
Gotcha.
So that it can be good enough to go to Broadway.
We were lucky enough to see that show in Chicago a couple years back. Oh
wow!
What sort of tweaks are you making when you say you've been doing it for a few years? Is it just adding different songs, or getting better at storytelling? How does that work for you?
Well, it's actually that's a great question because it all started like about 7 years ago when I decided just to make some pretty drastic changes to my body and mind and mental health, and just decided to stop putting, first of all, negative people in my life, negative toxins, negative anything in my life, and just try to do the next right thing and live as healthy and as positive as I can. And I was just going to do it for a little bit, but what's crazy is I've been doing it for like 7 years now. And the way the story evolved and the show evolved is it started out as this show about, life was so hard. Let me tell you about it. Oh, poor me. Look at all the things I've gone through. And it makes me sick. but because now I look at it and it's more of man, come join me. This life is so beautiful.
Right.
And I've written this song, and it came from this thought. Let me tell you the story of what I've learned in the past couple of years, and it just keeps growing and growing, and it's become this comedy routine where it's just crazy now. I'm playing like 2,000 seaters in Austin, where Dane Cook plays, you know,
Right.
and it's doing these comedy routines about serious things like recovery and redemption and health and mental illness awareness, and it's pretty cool, you know. So it's always changing, ever growing, and I'm just super proud of it.
You've been really open with your struggles with depression and sobriety. I was kind of wondering, with some of the songs that you wrote back, many years ago, when maybe you were in the thick of it, and now that being sober, do you have a different relationship with those songs?
Oh, I love them. I love those songs just because it's almost like when I saw Johnny Cash sing "Hurt" by Nine Inch Nails, right? So when he did that, it affected me more than anything I've ever seen, because I knew it came from somewhere.
Yeah.
He didn't write it, but I knew that it came from a real place inside of him. And it was so hard to watch, and it was so touching to watch, because I was so proud of Johnny Cash for coming so far in his own recovery, in his own life, you know? So when I sing those songs like "Hate Me" and "Into the Ocean" and "Dirt Room" and "Say It," and old songs like that, I have this glow about me, because it's like a completely different person.
Right.
And I take them more as a storyboard, like a Tom Waits song now, or like an old Peter Gabriel song now, instead of like, oh, there's that song I got to sing again. No, man, those songs are precious. They're little babies, and they're written at such a fragile time. That's what made you who you are. And you should treat them like their own chapter in a book, you know.
You guys, if you look at the scope of your albums, from the past till now, you've got such a eclectic variety of music. Who is your biggest musical influence? Where do you draw your inspiration from?
When I was growing up as a kid, it was Peter Gabriel. Peter Gabriel, the Smiths, The Cure. I listened to a lot of dark stuff, but
that makes sense.
But but what I love about today's music is that there's really no genre attached to me anymore.
Yeah.
I love old jazz like Ella Fitzgerald and Dave Brubeck, and I'm not necessarily drawing on music anymore. I'm drawing on how music makes me feel, and the romance of life, and maybe that first kiss again, or that song turning on when there's a moon outside, and that feeling you get, because I am living that clean life and that beautiful life that you can feel those things again.
Yeah.
You know, and it's pretty amazing to feel the excitement of, of looking at my wife every now and then when we're out and about on tour, and just feeling that those crows in my stomach, because I'm just so nervous around her still.
Yeah.
You know, and it's so cool. It's so amazing to feel that, and then to be able to turn around and write it. So I love bands all around the world. There's so many great bands I can't even begin to tell you, but Peter Gabriel really did something to me when I was a kid. He had a way of really expressing himself through lyrics and melody that just killed me, man. I mean, it killed me.
When you sit down to write a song, is it music first? Does it? Do you hear a melody in your head? Is it lyrics? What's the kind of the process? Do you have anything set in stone?
There's all different types, because I'm so gung ho on the craft now, because I know what I'm doing now, and it's not just a brain fart after I smoked a joint.
Right.
You know? it's more of I own my own studio. It's right outside of my house on this little 6-acre property. So every morning I can go out there and have a cup of coffee and kiss my wife and say, I'll be back at 6. And I go out there and I sit down with my engineer, and he says, what do you want to do today? And I said, we're going to write an amazing song. and let's do it. And then I'll
Mhm.
just play until something feels right, or I'll come up with this beat until it feels right, or I've got something to say, and I'll just spit it into the mic. And it's all different types. All different types. Lyrics come first. Melody could come first.
Mhm.
My new thing that I like to do is to write music and then sing whatever comes on the top of my head from the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Like unconscious singing.
Sure.
And I could be singing just whatever melody, but I kind of try to sound out if that melody had words, what would it sound like?
Right.
So most of it would be, it sounds like a bunch of mumble jumble, right?
Sure.
But then I'll go back and I'll listen and I'll be like, what did I say right there? And I'll make sense of what I said,
Mhm.
and I'll try to fit words in with vowels and consonants and syllables. And that's probably one of the most fun things. I'm a word nerd.
Have you ever written a song, had no idea where it was coming from, and then later on went, oh, that was like deep in my subconscious, and now it makes sense. Now I know what that's about.
That's the best is when you write that song and years later you're like, oh, that was you telling yourself to stop doing so many damn drugs.
Right.
Wow. Oh, my God. There's so many of those, man. Like there's one called Chameleon Boy that I never knew why I wrote it. And the chorus is stand by for another breakdown. Sound off the alarm. It's the chameleon boy I swore I'd never become.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool, man. That's really neat. And then
Trippy.
later on, I'm like, holy crap. I'm sitting there telling myself, like, wow, bro.
Wow, that's amazing. Do you do anything?
Cool.
Do you do anything that has nothing to do with music? Do you have any other hobbies?
Yeah, my favorite thing to do is be the best father I can possibly be. If I'm not doing music, which is what I do all the time, and when I'm not making music, I'm usually with my kids or with their teachers or on YouTube trying to relearn how to do rates and proportions
Right.
so I can figure out how to tell them at night when they're crying, going, I can't forget, math sucks. And I'm like, don't give up. And I can't tell them, don't give up, and then go, do it. I don't know how to do it. So I stay up and try to figure those things out because I'm just happy to be sober and like, have a brain on my head, you know? And I like producing other people. I like making film. I like writing scripts. We have a documentary we just finished that was 7 years in the making that we're going to film festivals for this year, and I'm just super excited to get into that. You know?
Nice.
And another thing I like to do, which is really funny, I like to mow the lawn. Like I really like, and I have like this big riding lawnmower, right? But
Yeah.
I really get off on going and getting the push lawnmower and precisely cutting it like a freaking fine-tuned haircut. Like it has to be perfect. And then I go water it, and then my wife comes on. She goes, "Stop wasting the water."
Yeah.
You be quiet.
Well, when you guys are here next month, I've got 7 acres. I'd love a helping hand.
Ooh, don't tempt me with a good time, bro. Because all I do is put on some music that I'm working on. The studio's right there, so I'll tell the engineer, send it to me. We just made that music. He said, well, where are you going? I'm going to go mow the lawn. Oh, you're going to go write lyrics, huh?
Yeah.
Some of my best lyrics are mowing the darn lawn.
Wow. That's great.
That's man. It's so deep and philosophical, man. What are you doing? I'm mowing the freaking lawn, picking up dog dirt. What? I'm such a normal dude, but I'm not. But when I'm home, I'm such a normal guy. But when I'm on the road, I'm a weirdo, bro. I'm weird.
Well, I can't wait to see you, man. October 25th, Rhythm City Casino Resort. It's going to be an awesome show.
Come up and shake my hand because I want to shake the hand of the guy that was there in 2002.
Yeah, me and the wife are going to be there for that show for sure. We'll make sure to come up and say hello.
I want to get a picture with both y'all if that's okay.
That sounds amazing.
All right. Well, you have a great day. If you ever need anything, this is my cell number, okay? You just give me a call.
That sounds great, Justin. Thank you so much, man.
All right, buddy. God bless you.
We'll see you soon.